Hello, welcome to another review here at the Grüne Horde. Today, Frostgrave Into the Breeding Pits by Joseph A. McCullough. The English version of the Frostgrave book and the new one with the gnolls are really interesting. I'm looking forward to play it. What do we have here? Contents, of course. Some nice pictures of a tunnel fighter and his natural enemy, the gnolls. Rules wise, we do have a standard setup, so we keep the normal one, but we have some ceiling heights. So there's a limit on how high you can go, and you can't jump over everything. Or we have a dungeon setup. If you have some kind of dungeon system, there are some available on MDF, a board or whatever. Then there are dead spaces in between. And you can't move into these, and these are the rules for this. You can, of course, have burrowing creatures or find a secret passage to walk through these. These are those spells, rules that need some adjustments and changes. Crumble spell doesn't affect the dead spaces. Leap, you can't jump over them. Mud is less dangerous, less diameter. Plane walk can be used to pass through, but you have to be able to pass through the full dead space, so you can't stop in it. The wall is less stable and can be attacked, which I think is a good addition for any wall, at least the attack. Doors and doorways. It can either be a large chamber or smaller chambers if you have this special kind of terrain. Of course, ceiling heights 10-inch. Lightning. There is not enough light in the caverns, so you don't see all over the board if you can draw a line of sight. So that's a limit of 20 or 16-inch, depending on the darkness of that particular place. There are things like the glow spell or traps that get you glowing, and then you can be shot at from a longer distance. So this makes that interesting. But of course, first you have to see him to get a glow spell there. Random encounters. We use a special table out of this book. And you can place the creature anywhere on the board. So in any empty cavern, which is more than 12-inch away from everybody. Burrowing. This is rules for burrowing creatures. Traps as one of the more interesting parts. First, you have to spring a trap. Whenever you roll a 1 for initiative, you spring a trap, but the player that rolled the 1 decides where this trap goes. So you decide on which figure, enemy, most likely, springs the trap. Then you roll on this table to decide the trap: smoke bomb, phosphorus spray, mind maze, poison dart, teleport pad, whatever you like. And then there are rules how this trap is solved, and every figure can or might make a roll against that trap. That might be a fight, a will, a movement roll, whatever. And different figures get different bonuses. Wizard and trap expert get +5, apprentice, chieftain, thief, and tunnel fighter +3, and the rest +0. So these have a higher probability to survive the trap, so that nothing happens to them. These are the traps. Cement spray, you get sprayed some thick goo on your hands. This hardens, you can't pick up a treasure. Easy. If you already have a treasure, you won't drop it unless you get killed, so you can't move it to your friend. Explosive rune is basically an old explosive rune. That's it. It was there before this fight, from one of the last fights, and it just explodes. Mind maze, make a will roll, or you become a target of this trap. And if other figures move into combat with this guy, then you also have to get into that trap. If you get into the trap, you may not activate, so if you fail your will rolls, you will then want to try to shoot him. You're out of the game for 1 turn. Sigilists are not immune to this one. There's another one, the time slip, where the chronomancer can basically choose if he wants to fail or pass his will roll against a number of 12. And if he fails it, or chooses to fail, in case of the Chronomancer, the figure vanishes, and then has to roll against the trap number of 8 every turn, and when it succeeds, it's back. And okay, the Chronomancer can basically decide how many turns it wants to skip, or skip the full game and retreat via this way. Yeah, you also have secret passages. There are rules if you roll an initiative 20. Then you find a secret passage, you decide which of your figures, and it can move through one of the dead spaces, through line of sight blocking, house, terrain, whatever. New magic, beastcrafters. This is what's all about in breeding pits. The breeding pits were the home of the beastcrafters. Their magic, it's neutral to everybody, so everybody can learn these type of spells, but he has to get the beastcrafter trait. You get this by finding the book of beastcrafting. Then you have to brew the elixir of the beastcrafter, and therefore you have to have the brew potion spell. You have to buy the ingredients. You have to pass the brew potion spell, and then you get the beastcrafter 1 trait. You also have to be already level 5. You can do it again to get to level 2, and another one to get to level 3, and then you get these additional rules. So in the case of level 1, +1 to all rolls to control animal, add boars and ice spiders to your options for animal companion, but pay more for all soldiers except the hounds. For the level 2, you pay even more, and you get +1 to animal companion, and you now may have 2 animal companions per wizard, so 4 in total. And you can learn the first beastcrafter spell. 3rd level gives you access to the next beastcrafter spell. Soldiers are now +20, so the thug and the thief basically double, which is expensive. And you get the second spell, animal mutation. One of the animal features, claws, wings, night vision. Interesting for the game, I think. These are the spells for beastcrafting, and then you have reaction spells. Whenever something happens where one of these spells is defined what it does, so when the spell is applicable, you can use this spell as one of your next activations. You're losing the action in the next activation, but you could basically cancel something bad. The Sigilist can basically cancel a spell with capture incantation. So if you do this, in this case, Sigilist does a spell first. If he succeeds, the target needs -5 to his casting roll. So you could also just try to hurt him with this way. Kind of offensive spell for the Sigilist. If you capture incantation and have Right Scroll, you can cast Right Scroll after the game and capture the last, or write a scroll with the last captured incantation spell. So if you've captured an elemental bolt, you can now write down an elemental bolt as a scroll. Interesting. Deflect is just deflect some damage. Flash. If you're in combat with a spellcaster, this is from the illusionist, you have to do a will roll. If everybody is now out of combat, so everybody fails these rolls, then the spellcaster may basically move 2 inches away. Yeah, nice. Slow fall, that's slowing down a fall, so a Chronomancer can do this when he's falling, or is pushed over a ledge. Interesting. And then there's another lore, the Spiritualist, that's aligned with Necromancer and Thaumaturge, funny combination, and neutral to everybody else. This is only available by scroll, and it basically generates nightmares in your opponent. So he gets -20 experience points for every game against your warband or where the casting wizard is present. The spell cannot be cancelled, nor is it affected by any kind of null energy? So this is always there. If you want to cancel and end this spell, you have to reduce the caster to 0 health. And you have to be present at that spell, at that time. Interesting version, interesting spell. I hope to get that scroll once I'll directly use it. Yeah, new soldiers, trap expert and tunnel fighter. These both increase the probability for traps and for secret passages. So you find one if you roll a 2, you find one if you roll a 19 already. Yeah, then we have scenarios, moving maze, terrain starts to move. Interesting. Here comes the flood, one of my favorite from this one. You have a sewer channel somewhere, and this one gets more water and everything is swept away. Basically, you roll for when this happens. Really interesting version. Okay, breeding pits. This is the main scenario from this book. That's the name, basically. After this, all treasures are breeding pit treasures. Normally it's just one of the tokens. So this one should be played very soon. Rats in the walls. Okay, you have rats everywhere. You're basically at their nest, and they will approach you. They are hiding below the tokens and will attack. Every trap is basically a rat. Okay, let's try it. Mating season. In this one, several devourers are going to mate in the middle of the board. Devourers are basically harmless creatures if they are unharmed, undamaged. But they might get a little bit dangerous, angry when they get hurt and attack the next figure. So you have an interest to shoot the devourer that is on the opposite side, that is just moving through the opposite warband, since if it takes some damage, it will attack your opponent. You get 50 experience points if either wizard or apprentices are on the board in the turn in which a devourer is threatened as having less than full health. So either you damage it or your opponent damages, then you get points. I think, maybe half health would be more interesting here. So really do some damage on them. New treasures, and here you can find those special things, similar as in the last extension. Interesting treasures. Yeah, of course, the book of the beastcrafter, the book of the bone binder. That's basically a zombie that stays with you. Scroll of Nightmare. Gloves of rune casting. This is done for explosive runes. Now you can put it in 3-inch and line of sight, so you can also basically place it somewhere where it can explode directly and you're not harmed yourself. Iron collar for some animals, they get more fight and armor and even will. And then we have the bestiary. Interesting here, if you roll for gnolls on the gnoll table, then you can get more than just 2 or 3 figures. You can have here the 22 gnoll, barbarian, chieftain and 4 barbarians, so 5 figures, and this is chieftain, shaman, 2 barbarians, 2 treasure hunters, 2 infantrymen, so 8 figures, so full warband just showing up and attacking. Other figures and animals we have is a basilisk, he can petrify you. Devourer, which I already explained. The gnolls are basically used as other henchmen and soldiers. They just look different. And especially if you have a beastcrafter, you're also getting a trait yourself and some animal appearance on your wizard. You can now use the gnolls as your soldiers. There are some with special rules, but that's just the chieftain and the shaman. Hydra. This one has multiple heads, so counts as being basically several figures that attack you. Gets +2 fight if it attacks a single figure, +2 if it +4 for single, +2 for 2. And if it's 3 or more figures, then it's nobody gets a bonus. There are some rare strengths. You can have poisoned or breathe fire on your Hydra. Roll for it if it has something of this. The two-headed troll is a smaller version of this by his rules and of course different stats. The sewer slime is very funny. You don't even know if it's an animal or plant. It is difficult to hit. It has an armor of 20 against normal attacks, against 12 against critical hits, but it's just it will only get you some disease, or this was the disease. No, it really fights. So just avoid them. There was one that just gives you a disease. Poisonous spores. Yeah, nice. This is the violent fungus. The last one, those which is nice figures, are immune to poison. Nice. And then we are showing off the next supplement in November. Barbarians, and I really like this picture. I want to have this, whatever it is, rhinoceros mammoth mixture in my warband in the future. Cool. So, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.